Saskatoon rocks its roots, how people came together to recognize reconciliation. Sentencing day for a man responsible for a fatal crash. How long will he be in custody? And how a Saskatchewan farm family is harvesting success at a time when being a producer is harder to yield results.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin in Victoria Park, where thousands gathered for the annual Rock Your Roots walk in recognition of reconciliation. Today marked its 10th anniversary, and as Keenan Sorokon reports, when it started, hundreds turned out, but now more than 7,000 are part of the day.
Six years ago, David Finday invited people to smudge with him at Rock Your Roots to bring people closer together. That sense of community was on full display Friday, as Finday beamed with pride watching thousands walk alongside one another for the 10th annual Rock Your Roots Walk for Reconciliation.
It's awesome. It's to celebrate being First Nations, to open it up and to let people see the real truth about First Nations people.
For people who have been going on the walk for years, hitting the 10-year milestone shows the event has its place on the calendar and now has a lasting impact on a generation educated about residential schools and truth and reconciliation calls to action.
Children really do lead us if we are supporting those kinds of efforts, and I know that those children are learning things that many of their parents didn't. And how does that help to shape the future for all of us?
Block says passing this along to the kids is what the day is all about. And if reconciliation is to remain this shared commitment by the greater community, furthering that work is as easy as getting acquainted.
Talk at the soccer pitch, at the hockey rink, and just get to know each other.
And that's exactly what Finday has committed himself to, hoping 10 years from now, the more than 5,000 children at Rock Your Roots carry it forward to another generation.
There's so many people that are lost out there, and I just want to try and bring back that belief, something to believe in.
10 years later, Rock Your Roots has empowered thousands to connect and share stories, with organizers hoping this momentum will continue through the next decade. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The driver responsible for a fatal crash in 2024 in Saskatoon has been handed a 2-year sentence. CTV's Stacey Hine has more on the judge's decision from Saskatoon's Court of King's bench.
This was the moment before Wiley Vermette's truck collided with an SUV, killing 22-year-old Natalie Gardapi, paralyzing Brandy Keenach, and injuring another passenger. Vermette was driving at 128 kilometers an hour down Quebec Avenue. The crash happened at around 6 p.m. on June 11th, 2024. Now, 2 years later, Vermette has been handed a 2-year sentence after pleading guilty to 1 count of dangerous driving causing death and 2 counts of dangerous driving causing bodily harm. Justice Daryl Lebach accepted a joint sentencing recommendation from the Crown and Defense. Gardapi's family says Vermette's sentence is not enough.
The sentence that was told by the judge today is heartbreaking. My niece is gone. Natalie's gone. Brandy's in a wheelchair for the rest of her life and is never going to be the same.
But the Crown and Defense say the sentence is appropriate.
The Crown and Defense really put a lot of work into the joint submission, and we do think that it is the right outcome for this particular offense and this particular offender in these circumstances.
There was no chance that we were going to put people back where they were before this, but we're grateful for the Crown's response and coming to a conclusion which we think dealt with really a tragic situation as best as it could.
After receiving 5 days credit for time served, Vermette will serve his sentence in a provincial jail. He's also been handed a 7-year driving prohibition. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
An inquest into the death of a man who died following a confrontation with Prince Albert police has been scheduled for next month. 40-year-old Bowden Umferville was taken to hospital and put on life support in April of 2023. On April 1st of 2023, Umferville was in a vehicle that was reported stolen. During his arrest, he was tasered, struck by batons, and kneed. He was eventually taken off life support. A report by the Serious Incident Response Team found Umferville died from from cardiac arrest brought on by cocaine, and the position his body was in likely prevented him from breathing. Officers involved in his arrest were cleared of any wrongdoing. The inquest into his death is scheduled for Court of King's Bench in Prince Albert July 20th to 24th. The jury may make recommendations to prevent similar deaths. An inmate who was at a psychiatric correctional facility in North Battleford has been released from custody by mistake. 26-year-old Kalisha Jackson is facing charges related to assault and confinement and was being held by the Saskatchewan Hospital North Battleford Integrated Correctional Facility. The province says she was released March 19th because of an administrative error. It adds Kalisha Jackson isn't believed to be a risk to public safety, but if anyone sees her, they are asked to call police. A 9-year-old child was sent to hospital after a dog attack in Regina earlier this week. Police say patrol officers were stopped by 2 children Wednesday night. One of them had a wound on their face from the attack. Paramedics took the child to hospital. Police and animal protection officers found the dog at a nearby home. The animal is currently in the custody of Animal Protection Services. A Regina neighborhood is feeling uneasy tonight. Last week, human remains were found in a yard at a home. Jacob Carr on the discovery and the search to identify the victim.
On June 9th, a tenant in a home on the 1300 block of Ritalik Street found what was later confirmed to be human remains in the backyard of the property. And with all the police attention that this discovery garnered, it wasn't long until many of the neighbors were alerted to the gruesome findings.
They had the crime unit bus out, and I'm like, okay, this is obviously something a bit more substantial. And didn't really know what was going on because I've never even seen that bus before. And then later that night or the next day, that's when the neighbors said they confirmed they found human remains.
Button, who says she has been in the neighborhood for around 6 months, says while she was saddened to hear the news of the findings, she was not surprised by it.
That makes me question how many other houses around the city, or this area in particular, could there be remains sitting there, right? Yeah. Which is crazy, but yeah. And then to find out it's been there for about 5 years. So hopefully you can figure out who the victim was.
The latest RPS release on Wednesday stated that after an autopsy, the victim is believed to have been a male between the ages of 30 and 40, and that the remains have been buried in the location since at least 2021. CTV News also spoke with the landlord of the property, Carl Humphreys. He has owned the property for nearly 20 years and says around 7 to 8 tenants have come through the space in that time. Humphreys says he is now on the hook for the cleanup of debris on the property after the police ordered a shed demolished near where the remains were found.
I said, well, you can demolish it as long as you're prepared to clean up any mess that you make. And they indicated that, they would do what was necessary. That's how they worded it.
Humphreys told CTV News that he didn't get a definitive answer from the city of Regina as to how long he has to clean up the debris from the shed, but that the city bylaw said 2 to 3 weeks. RPS was unavailable for comment on the demolition cleanup and is currently appealing to the public to help identify the victim. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Insurance claims stemming from a major hailstorm in Regina a week and a half ago are expected to exceed $80 million, according to SGI. The Saskatchewan Insurance Company estimating that more than 10,000 people have reported damages to their homes and vehicles, with adjusters now working overtime to assess the damage. Wayne Mantika reports.
Darlene Stinson is one of thousands of Regina residents with vehicle hail damage from a June 9th storm. It took only 10 days to see an appraiser.
The hood is all banged up. The roof is all banged up. The driver's side here, the whole entire framework and stuff is hit.
SGI has brought in staff from across the province for a series of weekend appraisal blitzes. The latest 3-day event is by appointment at the SGI Commercial Claims Center in Regina.
I think initial customer feedback has been really positive so far. People are very appreciative of the response and how fast that we're trying to get to them.
So far, SGI has received 10,000 vehicle hail damage claims and another 800 property damage claims. It estimates the total value at $80 million.
And the amount of claims coming in continues to grow. We are well prepared to handle that. We've mobilized our staff to intake those claims, so we are helping customers who either phone in, come into a branch, or put a claim in online.
Darlene Stinson has dozens of hail dents in her vehicle. Her damage estimate came in at $11,000. She hopes it won't be a write-off.
It means that I probably would have to go into payments again, and I wouldn't want that.
$80 million in claims is a huge hit to the auto fund, which operates on a break-even basis over time. It's why SGI maintains a substantial reserve fund, currently estimated at about $750 million, more than enough to weather major storms. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Saskatchewan has its 7th tornado of the year. Researchers with the Northern Tornadoes Project say they've confirmed a landspout tornado formed northwest of Viceroy yesterday afternoon. The tornado has been given a default rating of EF0 with no damage reported. A satellite imagery review is pending. Viceroy is southeast of Assiniboia. We'll have some unsettled weather on the way, but hopefully it does not contain tornadoes.
I hope not as well. And right now it looks like it's mostly a rain event. And it won't be necessarily the entire province, but we are keeping our eye on a system that's brewing up in British Columbia. It's moving into Alberta. Places like Edmonton could see up to 100 millimeters of rain. That same system makes its way into Saskatchewan for Father's Day. And so it looks like right now Father's Day could be kind of wet in many locations. We'll talk about that later on.
More farmers are leaving the industry than entering it. It comes as production costs and risks keep rising. But despite tough economic times, one family farm near Melfort is managing to carry on the business into its 3rd generation. CTV's Alison Bamford explains their path to success.
Bo Stevenson is checking cows in one of his pastures. He grew up farming, but got into the industry full-time 6 years ago, joining his grandfather, father, and younger brother. At that time, they were just a grain farm.
We knew we needed to diversify from the beginning to comfortably make a living.
Farmers across the country are dealing with higher costs and astronomical land prices.
As a young guy, getting into this, it's not very affordable or economical buying land.
Making it hard to start out or even expand.
It's a lot of risk. It's a lot of work. It is tougher to do than it definitely was 30 years ago.
More people are leaving the industry than entering it. Farm Credit Canada estimates more than half of Canadian farmers are over the age of 55, and 40% are expected to retire by 2033.
When we lose primary producers, the risk is that our land, our farmland, ceases to be operated as a farm.
The Stevensons say diversification has been key. They have the feedlot, the grain farm, and the calving operation, which has allowed the farm to stay in the family for 3 generations.
It certainly spreads the risk out for any farming operation to be diversified, but it is hard to get into other farming industries if you're not involved today.
Experts say it's increasingly difficult for small and mid-sized farms to compete with big operations, which could lead to fewer but larger farming companies in the future. Here at the Stevenson family farm, they hope to carry on the legacy.
There's some pressure to continue it and make sure that it is successful and thrives.
A challenge they say they're up for. Alison Bamford, CTV News, near Melfort, Saskatchewan.
Brandt Industries is appealing a court-imposed fine handed down in connection to a workplace incident that left an employee seriously injured. Brandt was found guilty of 1 violation under the Occupational Health and Safety Act last October after an employee was badly injured in a forklift incident in Regina in 2021. The worker said he was trained and certified to use the equipment, but his documentation was never received by Brandt. Brandt was fined $55,000 for the incident. Lawyers for Brandt are concerned about the trial judge's findings and are looking for an acquittal. The Crown has also filed its own appeal. The appeal hearing will continue September 11th. Several Saskatoon neighborhood parks are set to receive upgrades this year. The city says upgrades may include new or improved pathways, lighting, irrigation and drainage systems, tree planting and other amenities. Forest Grove Linkage and Ernest Linder Park are scheduled for park upgrades, while Zumigalski, Simmons and Idlewild Parks will receive playground improvements. 9 parks are also scheduled for drainage upgrades. The city says portions of some parks and their amenities will be temporarily closed during the upgrades. The story of a Saskatchewan youngster is helping to raise money for the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital. A couple of years ago, we introduced you to baby Mark, who was in the neonatal intensive care unit at the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital. Baby Mark was born more than 10 weeks premature at just under 1 kilogram. Inspired by his 305-day stay at Jim Pattison Children's Hospital, the family organized an annual Making Our Mark golf tournament, which was recently held at St. Walburg Golf Course. Yesterday, the family announced more than $40,000 was raised in support of the neonatal intensive care unit at Jim Pattison Children's Hospital.
Making Our Mark was inspired by the phenomenal care we received during Mark's long stay here at JPCH, but also the way that they innovated and just took care of the whole family while we were here.
The family says the hospital made a lasting impact on them and are happy to support the work they do for Saskatchewan children and families. Some road restrictions will be in place in parts of the city tomorrow for the annual Motorcycle Ride for Dad. The route starts at the Western Development Museum starting tomorrow morning at 10:15. There will be some roadway restrictions along Lorne Avenue, Idlewild Drive, 1st Avenue, 20th Street, Spadina Crescent, Pine House Drive, and Primrose Drive. Detours will be in place starting at 6 a.m. The ride is expected to end at noon at Lawson Heights Mall. Anyone who might be in the area is advised to watch for the motorcycles and the road restrictions. The Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation is highlighting its widespread impact. Rider players traveled over 26,000 kilometers to 181 schools, reaching more than 45,000 Saskatchewan students. $3.3 million was committed to provincial football programs. The foundation says key areas of focus are literacy, activity, and youth mental health.
I say to the players every morning, every time I see them in the morning before they go to school or when we do our training with them, and said, you don't know today if you're going to impact a life and help a child make a different decision. And you heard that today, that, keep going. I said, we'll never be able to count it. It's not one of those bean counter things, but know that you will. You will absolutely make an impact on a kid's life here in this province.
The league has awarded the last 4 Jake Goddard Veterans Awards to a Saskatchewan Roughrider. The award is given out to the player who best makes an impact on their community. Most recently, Logan Furlan was the recipient, which he credited to the work of the Roughrider Foundation. Still to come, Ottawa's plan to turn vacant BC condos into affordable living. Also, a round of firsts for Canada at the World Cup. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Last night's historic Canadian win was filled with many firsts for the team. The first World Cup win, the first hat trick, and what was once thought improbable, the first time Canada has been positioned to advance to the next round. CTV's Heather Wright on the squad's momentous rise.
One day after the biggest day in the history of Canadian men's soccer, the team took to the training pitch at the University of British Columbia. The mood, bittersweet. A blowout 6-0 win over Qatar, which came with the loss of star Ismail Kone, who broke his leg in yesterday's match.
I was really proud of the team to feel the emotion, but also stay focused on the task at hand.
The task at hand was to win, which the team did decisively.
In World Cup history, there's never been such a dominant performance. That's the truth. And so I think our team will take a lot of confidence from that.
It's the first World Cup win ever for the men's team in only its 3rd appearance. Up until this year, the Canadian men had never earned a World Cup point, a sign of how far the program has come.
This team checked a lot of boxes in the past couple of years, and
The way and the fashion that we did was something that we're very proud.
Following the game, the Prime Minister visited the team's dressing room, praising their character.
But you showed a level of character that some people never achieve in their life.
A question going into this tournament, is Canada now a footballing nation? Based on the crowd yesterday and the result on the field, the answer seems to be an emphatic yes.
It was a tremendous sign. We don't have to hold our breath anymore or bite our nails. We're there.
From the outset, the goal of this team has been to win their group, which would allow them to remain in Vancouver for the first match of the knockout stage. To do that, they need at least a draw against Switzerland, a game that goes Wednesday in Vancouver. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Ottawa says it has a plan to ease housing pressures in BC, a plan to convert vacant condos into affordable housing. It comes as thousands of finished units sit empty in one of North America's most expensive markets. CTV's Rachel Aiello on the pledge to cut development fees by up to 50%.
There's too many completed condos sitting empty.
While new housing is being built daily in this country, demand for affordable spaces continues to outpace supply. And so, in an effort to help address that imbalance, federal and provincial governments are trying something new to open up unoccupied units.
There is existing housing stock available that's been built that people would love to move into. They would love to make it their first home to buy, but they can't afford it.
Through the Build Canada Homes Agency, Ottawa will finance the offloading of unsold condos, converting more than 2,200 vacant units into affordable homes in British Columbia. This housing expert said the government should be able to scoop up units at a discount and turn around new, ready-to-live-in space for those in need fairly quickly.
So unlike a traditional Build Canada Homes or social housing program, that we don't have to wait multiple years for them to get built. So we could get families in them in a month or two, but we haven't really seen those details from government yet.
And similar to a plan already in place in Ontario, BC and Ottawa will be spending $3.2 billion to cut the development charges municipalities impose on developers by up to 50%.
That could mean for a new unit reducing costs by up to $40,000.
While these fees are used to help build the infrastructure needed to support new builds, they also end up driving up the cost of new housing for buyers.
And so looking at some of these alternatives could make the whole system more efficient financially and also more affordable for buyers.
Before parliamentarians wrapped up their work here in Ottawa, Prime Minister Mark Carney's Build Canada Homes Bill became law, enacting a new agency that's sole mission is to build affordable housing. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A WestJet flight headed for Calgary was evacuated on the runway after declaring an emergency. It happened yesterday afternoon on runway 8 at the Denver International Airport during takeoff. Control tower WestJet says the aircraft safely aborted takeoff. The crew responded with established procedures and declared an emergency. The airport says the passengers were all safely bused back to the terminal. Audio indicated the plane had blown tires. Emergency crews in Britain are responding to a crash between two passenger trains north of London. Video from the scene shows the two trains stopped on the tracks. You can see emergency workers in the field off to the side. This happened near Bedford, about 100 kilometers north of London. Not many details are known about injuries and how it happened at this point. To the Middle East now, where Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to renew their ceasefire, but not before there was an escalation in fighting. Lebanon says 47 people were killed in Israeli airstrikes and 4 Israeli soldiers died in attacks by Hezbollah. The deadly exchanges have created uncertainty about the timing of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. Talks between the two sides scheduled for today in Switzerland were postponed as the fighting flared. Tehran has insisted on ending the hostilities in Lebanon as one of the conditions for a broader U.S.-Iran peace deal. All right, Jeff, it's going to be a half sunny and half soggy weekend.
That's right, and it all depends on where you are, because some places won't be soggy, may not even be rainy at all, but certainly there's a bit of a bullseye making its way in from Alberta into Saskatchewan, and Saskatoon and the Battlefords may be really feeling the brunt of that compared to Prince Albert. We'll talk about that later on. Let's take a look at our current conditions. 20 degrees in Saskatoon, 19 in Prince Albert, 16 in the Battlefords, and 20 degrees happens to be our almanac high for today. Our 24-hour high, 20 degrees. 23 is typical for this time of late June, late spring. 35 degrees, the record warm temperature from 2003. 0 for a second day in a row from the year 1902. The sun came up at 4:45, but it's going to go down at 9:31.
Coming up, when the grass is not always greener on the other side, what it takes to get the turf just right for the World Cup.
Saskatchewan. We're calling all photographers. Details on the Explore Sask photo contest and how you can participate. It all starts at 6.
All righty. Ooh, it's a dark cloud right now. We're starting to see a little something actually starting to fall, so we will likely see some precipitation out of this particular cloud. Now, will we see much more than this? It will just quick blast like we had there tonight. We're not sure exactly right now, but we're going to keep our eye on that. And you can certainly see a little something off to the side there. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our current temperatures. 20 degrees in Saskatoon, 19 in Prince Albert, and 16. Oh, there you go. The icon just changed. So it's definitely officially raining at the airport. We'll have to check the weather door in a second. 16 as well in the Battlefords, but mainly cloudy skies. And as we take a look at our almanac, just to remind you that, yes, we hit 20 degrees today, and that is below the seasonal average of 23 degrees. The hot spot in the province, that is Leader at 21 degrees, Maple Creek to cold spot at 3. Around the province we go. Currently it is 16 degrees in Yorkton and Lloydminster, 18 in Swift Current and Estevan, 19 in Regina. A closer look at central Saskatchewan reveals that Spiritwood and Hudson Bay are at 13 degrees, but it does warm up to 20 in Kindersley and Rosetown. Many locations around that 16 or 17 degree mark. Up north, well, temperatures are pretty close to that in some respects. A number of 17s on the map, but we'll say mid to high teens for temperatures right now in the north. And down south, the only locations on this part of our map that are at 20 degrees are Outlook and Maple Creek, but most places not far from that. The coolest it gets on this part of our map, 16, and that is in Melville. It's 18 in Carlisle right now. Futurecast indicating that, yes, there is that bullseye coming out of the elbow region of British Columbia, or Alberta and British Columbia, into central Alberta, and that's where we expect the heaviest rain to be. And you know what? We might see some snow in higher elevations. In fact, they're going to be having summer skiing starting on Saturday up at Sunshine, so that's pretty impressive. It's only the second time this millennia they've had this. So right now we have a tornado watch in effect for areas around Prince George, along with a severe thunderstorm warning. And then into that huge area of Alberta, rainfall warnings are in effect, and some places might see up to 100 millimeters of rain. Around the province we go. Temperatures around 20 degrees for northern Saskatchewan on Saturday, with cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. A similar sky condition for west central Saskatchewan, a bit on the windy side in Kindersley. Wind gusts up to 50 kilometers an hour. 24 for Kindersley and Rosetown tomorrow. Into southern Saskatchewan, temperatures in and around that 24 or 25 degree mark. A mix of sky conditions, and we're expecting it to be windy in the Leader area. Temperatures in the low to mid 20s for southeastern Saskatchewan under mainly cloudy skies, and a similar temperature pattern and sky condition situation for east central Saskatchewan as well. The Battlefords dropping down to 9 degrees with a slight chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm. Cloudy skies on Saturday, a bit on the windy side. And then, yes, a soggy Sunday in store as spring arrives, or rather summer arrives, and we say goodbye to spring, and a chance of showers on Monday as well. Then warming up a lot as we head towards Thursday and Friday of next week. Prince Albert, 7 degrees, 22 degrees tomorrow. And then as we take a look at Sunday, things have backed off completely. So Prince Albert's back to being a cloudy, but no rain day for Father's Day, but rain expected on Monday, and then a slow warm-up to 27 by Friday. And finally, Saskatoon dropping down to 8 degrees tonight, a slight chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm. Winds out of the north at 30 and backing off, as I mentioned, but picking up tomorrow. Wind gusts up around 40 kilometers an hour under mainly cloudy skies. 23 the expected daytime high, which is seasonal, and then 16 degrees on Sunday and Monday. And when all is said and done, it could be over 30 millimeters of rain over the course of 2 days. Summer arrives at early morning at 3:25 a.m. on Sunday morning. And then as we get into next week, things start to warm up very nicely. 27 1 week from today.
Hi. Oh, hi. Wow.
Sad news out of the entertainment news world. Duvet Chase, best known as the voice of Lilo in the animated Disney film Lilo and Stitch, has died at the age of 35. Her father told the New York Times that she died in hospital from complications of bacterial meningitis and a blood infection. He said his daughter, with whom he was estranged, has been struggling with drugs since the age of 13 and has been homeless and living in Los Angeles at the time of her death. Chase was just 11 years old when Lilo and Stitch became a box office sensation. As a child actor, she was also cast as the dark-haired villain Samara in The Ring, earning her international praise.
I've been shooting some stuff on my phone, but it's kind of going to be about all eras of the Knicks, and this team, obviously, you know, there's a culmination.
Almost no one's surprised. Ben Stiller has confirmed he is working on a new documentary about the New York Knicks, fresh off their NBA championship. He made the announcement earlier this week on the Roommates podcast, saying he's making the film for HBO. Access won't be an issue, with Stiller saying the NBA and Madison Square Garden are in full cooperation.
Gonna do this. We're doing it right.
Yo, D, this full effect?
After a number of delays, Rockstar Games has set the stage for what some industry watchers expect to be the biggest video game launch on record. Grand Theft Auto 6 is the latest title in the action-adventure series. It's arriving 13 years after its predecessor. Players take on the roles of a romantic pair of protagonists navigating the criminal world of a fictional U.S. state inspired by the free state of Florida. Yesterday, Rockstar shared the cover art for GTA 6 and said pre-sales will launch next week ahead of its expected November release date.
All right, some variety and pick of the day today, Jeff.
Yeah, there sure is. We're going to start off with this lovely sunset. This one comes to us from Connie. Storm cloud moving east at sunset by Dinsmore. Those are lovely colors and great shot of the clouds there, so thank you, Connie. The next one from Shannon out in Dundurn, or at least the RM of Dundurn. Hi, Jeff. Perfect morning for drinking coffee, bird watching, enjoying the flowers, and reading a good book. I love my little hummingbirds and many other birds. Retirement is glorious. That is a great shot of a hummingbird. And finally from Sella, my granddaughter Zila Balzer had this farm pet donkeys, Lily and Gerald, delivered to Ecole Henry Kelsey as part of her grade 5 Tusk presentation. And Sella adds, the teacher who okayed the donkey visit is Jeremy Lalonde. Way to go, Mr. Lalonde. And way to go, Zila, and everybody involved in getting Gerald and Lily to the school safely. All right, if you'd like to share an image with us about donkeys or other things, you can certainly send it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, and please put pick of the day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, taking turf seriously. We meet the team ensuring the soccer pitch for the World Cup in Vancouver is a cut above the rest. Well, FIFA has rules for every part of the World Cup, including the grass in stadiums. It was a Fraser Valley farmer who spent months researching and growing the perfect field, now taking center stage at BC Place. Penny Daphlis went to go check it out.
Saturday's match at BC Place wasn't just a battle between competitors.
It's Australia who strike first!
Or the culmination of years of planning.
We think it was a great success.
It was a test of the turf itself.
The pitch was very good, in the perfect condition.
These elite players were more than pleased.
Everyone was buzzing with it, loved it. I thought it was pretty cool. The pitch was great quality.
It came through the first game in excellent condition.
Dale Frith would know this is his third Men's World Cup, and FIFA counts on him to keep the field in tip-top shape between games, with daily mowing and even combing over tiny bare spots.
But there's been a lot of research work done into the pitch and the construction of it, and all that work has come off well.
I've been around turf since I was 12, so that makes it almost 45 years, I guess.
This is the master behind that grassy perfection who's thrilled with all the praise.
It makes it really worthwhile.
Bert Boss started growing the sod a year ago after scouring Western Canada for the perfect sand to lay over this FIFA regulation compostable base. Called hybrid grass with 5% synthetic fiber sewn in, it's designed to reinforce the blend of rye and bluegrass the Federation required, installed by Boss and his team.
The quality needs to be just at the very best it can be, and also being on the world stage for the world to see. So it's there's a lot of pressure.
Even with the benefit of a high-definition professional-grade camera, it is difficult to convey exactly how thick and uniform and lush this turf is. And if you're wondering about that 5% that is artificial, I have been scrutinizing this stuff, and it all looks exactly the same to me.
Because good enough doesn't cut it for Boss or his family.
My kids really pushed me to take on the challenge.
A challenge that involved flying around the U.S. and Europe to get it just right and beating out American competitors for the opportunity.
It's an international event, and the more Canadian content we can have in this event, the better it is. I think it's a reflection of our turf industry, also the agricultural industry, our province, our country.
Penny Duffloss, CTV News, Abbotsford.
When we come back, a look at the key quarterbacks in the CFL. And later, the Lego with a need for speed.
Here's what's happening in our community. Rock the Pantry is back for a third year. The Real Canadian Super Band is collecting food and money in support of the Saskatoon Food Bank and Learning Centre. That's Saturday, June 20th at Buds on Broadway. National Indigenous Peoples Day is being celebrated at Wanuskewin Heritage Park on Sunday, June 21st between 10 and 4. Admission is by donation. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
Okay, let's take a look at the rural forecast for tomorrow, and many of these communities not dealing with rain tomorrow. Maybe that'll change on Sunday. But tomorrow things are looking pretty good. Temperatures in the high teens, low 20s, or mid-20s for some places. Look at that, 24 for Kindersley, but with some windy conditions. We mentioned that earlier on. Making our way to the eastern side of the province, as you can see, Hudson Bay, 21 degrees, ditto that for Wynyard. And then as we make our way down south, does it warm up? Not a lot. In fact, doesn't change all that much, particularly on the eastern side of the province. 21 degrees sort of along the border there, Kenora, Broadview, and Carlisle. But 25 in Maple Creek, 26 for Leader, but it does come with some windy conditions. So how do things shape up for Merrifield? Well, Merrifield's going to be about 21 degrees tomorrow, at times a bit breezy, wind gusts around 40 clicks, and partly or mainly cloudy skies. And Merrifield is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Bad news for the Riders secondary. Roland Milligan Jr. has been put on the 6-game injured list with a shoulder injury. Former NFLer Juju Hughes will get the first crack at starting in his boundary halfback spot. Jackson Ford starts at safety in Calgary with Nelson Lacombo on the 1-game injured list. Saturday's showdown will feature 2 great quarterbacks in Trevor Harris and Vernon Adams Jr. But as Donovan Mace tells us, that seems to be the case almost every week in the CFL.
Trevor Harris has now thrown for over 400 yards.
Quarterback play through the first 2 weeks of the CFL season.
A look to the end zone! Touchdown again!
Has some wondering if this group of pass throwers is one of the best the league has ever seen.
Quarterbacks in the CFL are throwing the ball more often, throwing it deeper, and having more success doing it.
Steps up, deep throws, got it!
Naylor saying quarterbacks are already on an early pace to set league records for completion percentage, passes attempted and deep plays, as well as record lows for interceptions.
The metrics are all positive for the passing game early in this season.
Every team has very, very good quarterback play.
In week 2 alone, 4 quarterbacks throwing for more than 400 yards.
That is putting the dagger in someone.
And pivots across the league are noticing it as well.
You look at the quarterback play around the league now in the last couple of years. I mean, it's every game, right? There's a guy on the other team leading the charge.
That makes for a great brand of football, and that's why they're seeing such high-level football and games coming down to the last minute.
Trevor would say that.
With the high-octane offenses throughout, coaches say the league has as much parity as ever.
And the quarterbacks in the league right now are all playing at a very high level. I think you look across the board, everybody's playing well.
Looking at it, I think
our guy played well as well. So just a lot of good quarterback play throughout the league.
Players are getting better everywhere. A lot of movement across the league where you're seeing good players from whatever conference or division switch over.
And if this early aerial approach continues, no team wants to get left behind.
Every team in the league feels like they have a quarterback. They can go out, air the ball deep, and win a game like that. And if you're not doing it, the other team is doing it.
Donovan Mee, CTV News, Regina.
Canadians spent more in April than the month before. Marilla Fernandez has more on the reasons behind the rising costs.
Canadians spent more on filling up their vehicles, no surprise, given the higher cost of fuel as a result of the Iran conflict. In April, Canadians spent $7.5 billion to gas up, or about 5% more than they did in March. Sales of vehicles and parts were also up in April, with both new and used car dealers getting a boost. Retail sales were up the most in Ontario, followed by Alberta. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 70.55. West Texas Intermediate up to 77.54. Western Canadian Select is down to 62.30. And the TSX lost 111 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is just under $1.62 a litre. The lowest price in town has dropped to $1.49.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco was up 61 cents and Nutrien finished the day at 88.73. Coming up, building a dream car brick by brick. Then another look at the Rock Your Roots Walk in Saskatoon.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Spring Break Murders. Well, Jeff, the Stonehenge as we know it today may not be original. Archaeologists have found a site 5 kilometers away from Stonehenge. On the site are pits used to hold wooden posts. The posts are positioned very much like Stonehenge. Calculations show the posts would have formed a line to perfectly show the summer solstice sun rising. This dates back to about 3000 BC. Stonehenge did not appear until 2500 BC. So
all right. And I wonder if those posts were more than 3 feet high. Spinal Tap reference. Thank you.
All right. Well, the master builders at Lego, they've really outdone themselves this time. Check out this full-size version of the Koenigsegg Spear supercar. It's made from 327,000 Lego bricks, along with some real car parts, which makes this car drivable. For people who want to build one at home and they don't have the money for the car, Lego has a smaller version for sale.
That is pretty wild.
That is really cool.
Yeah. Good old Legos, man. I mean, Lego bricks. Yeah, we were told that once. It's like, oh, they're not Legos. They are Lego bricks. There we go.
Fair enough. All right. Our forecast is looking...
Yeah, it's looking okay. Like, I mean, tomorrow's looking very nice. Looking very nice. Look at this. Okay, up to about 23 degrees tomorrow, 22 by 5 o'clock. A bit breezy at times, but that's towards the end of the afternoon. And then Sunday, well, we've got ourselves the possibility of some heavy-duty showers. But right now, that system looks like it's going to sort of track down along the yellowhead as it often does. So Prince Albert may not see anything in regard to rain. And there you go. Saskatoon, the Battlefors may be soggy.
For sure. All right. Well, earlier today was a nice day for the Rock Your Roots Walk for Reconciliation. Thousands of people coming out in Saskatoon. We will leave you with some of the highlights tonight and have a safe and happy weekend and happy Father's Day.
Huzzah!